Yo, we're back. It's the 19th. Finally got this schedule down. Gonna be doing YouTube Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Working from home today. I feel like I've been going nonstop with everything: work, content, podcasts, fitness content, personal life. We're blessed to be in this position, either way. We're doing things we once wished we could have done back in the day. But today I want to talk about dating. Not just dating, because I've talked about dating before. I've talked about being single, the keys to being single, buff, busy. I'm going to talk about dating while you're after a big goal, or dating while you're in the process of chasing a dream, or dating while you're in the process of spending time with yourself. Not so much that, but just dating while you're in the process of chasing a big dream or after a big goal, right? So I've been single for 3, almost 4 years now. When I first got single, I wasn't in the best place mentally and spiritually. So the dating I was doing was very surface level, all physically based. You guys know how it is when you get single as a man in this era. You gotta get your shots up, get your bodies up. You know what I mean? And that's what I did, of course. It was fun. From here to Europe, I was blessed to be in a position to go travel right at the beginning of being single. So I got to have my fun in America. I got to have my fun in Europe for 2 years, all over Europe. Germany, Croatia, Italy, Spain, Amsterdam, France. Where else did I go? I can't remember everywhere else. But yeah, I was single during that whole time. And it was amazing. Don't get me wrong. There's beautiful women in Europe. Beautiful experiences. Some unforgettable experiences, and I actually recreated the sauce or the motion, that I had when I was 14, 15, when I first lost my virginity. And I feel like most men don't get a chance to do that. If you're a man, once you lose your virginity, that next couple years, you're going crazy, and I recreated that. And it was a trip because I was going crazier than I did when I was 14, 15. And like I said, it was fun. But now that I'm home, I'm no longer playing football anymore. I'm focusing on work, focusing on the content, focusing on my business, pouring into myself, just focusing on becoming a better man. I've noticed, damn, I spend so much time with myself, and I'm always in the gym, and I'm always super dialed. I've become very aggressive, you know what I mean? In my everyday interactions, I'm very aggressive. I don't take things lightly at the end of the day, and I understand that could potentially be a problem. That's why I understand now why it's important to have a woman in your life, because every man needs a balance of feminine and masculine energy. You don't want to be too far feminine, and you don't want to be too far masculine, because it could cause problems in your current reality. And I'm learning that lesson, right? But now that I'm on this journey and I'm chasing this goal of financial freedom, just being great, the best version of myself, starting an online business, of course. I have zero time to do anything for myself, really. My life has become so full, and I understand that that's a blessing, because there's people in this world who don't even believe that they have the opportunity or the capabilities to create a full life. They just accept their lot and they just stay there and they're comfortable with it. And I've never wanted to be, and I've never been that type of guy. I've always been goal driven, had ambitions, wanted great things. I've always wanted to be bigger and better than I am today. So now that I'm on this journey and I have all these great things going on, I'm very busy, buff, busy, and booked. You know what I mean? All of 2025 so far, it's been a struggle, dating women, because I'm a man, I want to have sex, of course, you know what I mean? But I also understand it's important not to just have sex with women for that reason alone, because that's essentially why I got in this position in the first place. That's essentially why I'm single, because I've never not cheated on a woman, you know what I mean? Whether I've told them or I've never been caught, but whether I've told them or didn't tell them, most of my relationships I was cheating, and I've only been in 3 or 4 relationships in my whole entire 28 years of living and like most of them I was on drugs, so they don't really count. So I would say like maybe one real relationship, and I cheated on her. But I never told her. But the last relationship I was in, I cheated. I told her, you know, we broke up, and now I've been single for a while, and it's just like the struggles I'm finding and I'm facing, it comes down to the time, bro, because I've met a bunch of good women, like amazing women, you know, just on the caliber of my ex and better, you know what I mean? Because my ex was dope, don't get me wrong. Like, regardless of what I did, she's a great woman. But like, it comes down to the time, because like these women I've met, like I've noticed myself like having to like not talk to certain women because I'm like, dang, like she's hella cool. I can see myself liking her. But I know I can't give myself to a woman like a woman deserves. And I feel like every man, you know, well, I feel like me, the type of man I want to be with my woman. I want to be around her all the time. I want to talk to her all the time. I want to be with her. I want to do things together with her. We don't have to have the same interests, but she can do things I like with me, and I can do things she likes, you know, with her. You know, I don't see us ever having the same interests, being that she's a woman and I'm a man. But, you know, we can compromise and make sacrifices just to spend time with each other. I don't really care what we do as long as I can be with my lady. You know, that's the type of dude I am. That's the type of dude I've always been. But, like, at the end of the day, I know I don't have the capacity right now in my life to do that for a woman. So I find myself, like, you know, having to cut them off or, you know, play them away from me or, like, you know, just not entertain them, you know. And it's a catch-21 or catch-22. It's a bittersweet type of feeling, because yeah, I get to, you know, focus on myself, spend time with myself, achieve these goals, but at the end of the day, like, you know, we're social creatures, you know. A man needs a woman, you know. There's no way around it. Like, I don't believe any man can do this alone. Any man who is single past his 30s, I'm sure he's got multiple women in his life he can confide in, you know, that cater to him, or he could cater to, or just to keep that feminine energy around him. And I feel like it's kind of a messed up situation and unfair. It's like that Post Malone song. It's either pussy or the commas. You know what I mean? That's literally what it comes down to, bro. Like I hung out with this chick. We had a great time, went out, got food, and it was $200. And it's like, it has nothing to do with the money, because I like the girl, you know what I mean? But it's like, damn, if I like her, like, there's no point to just like her, like, you know what I mean? Because like, $200 every other week is gonna add up, you know. And I have big dreams, big goals, and right now I'm all money in, and I'm not rich or nothing, so every dollar like counts, you know. So I had to sit there and realize, like, damn, do I like her enough to invest in our experiences and us growing together, rather than investing the money into like what I set out to do in this journey, you know. So now I'm back in that position, and like I kind of had to, you know, cut it off, because like I don't think I like her that much, you know what I mean? I like her, I like spending time with her, you know, the sexual chemistry is great, but it's like I don't see myself being willing to continually put certain things I've been doing on the back burner to hang out with her, you know what I mean? And it's fucked up, because like she's hella cool, and like she says I'm hella cool, but like at the end of the day, the things she wants, like I'd like to give to her, but I can't, because like I just don't have the time, and I have the time to give it to her, but it's like it have to be in the manner in which I'm able to, you know. And I don't see a lot of women being down to do that, because why would they? They're women, they're queens just like we're kings, and I understand that they got needs, they need to be met. But I think it's at a certain point now in 2025, it's getting hard for women to determine the difference between like the archetypes of men, you know what I mean? Like, there's men like me who are busy and have goals and are dream oriented, who love women and want to be with women, but we don't have the time to be with them in the capacity that the woman would like us to be. Then there's guys who don't have dreams, they don't have goals, they're just satisfied and comfortable with whatever they're doing in their life, maybe construction, desk job, etc., etc. And those guys are typically the ones that have all the time to like talk to you and be with you and take you out, because they're set and they're comfortable. They don't want more for themselves, you know. In their head, the last thing they need to obtain is a woman. And a lot of men feel this way, but me personally, I've never had problems like obtaining a woman, whether it be for sexual reasons or just friendship reasons or just to be my girlfriend. I've never had a problem doing it. So I don't really, you know, feel like my internal clock is like ticking and it's coming to an end, but I do understand like the benefit of having feminine energy. So like that's kind of where I'm at right now with this whole dating thing, you know, like I feel like until I find a woman who's just willing to come along for the journey and just sees like my program and my conduct and respects what I've done and can understand what I've came from, like it's gonna be very hard for me to settle down with a woman, because like I've changed everything about myself I've needed to change. Like every bad habit I've ever had, I've removed it, and I work on them daily to be better daily. So I don't need a woman to help me get better. I need a woman to just add to what I'm doing already. You know what I mean? And I've always seen myself getting to this next stage of my life alone. Like I want to get the penthouse, get the car alone. I don't want it to be because I was with a woman or together, or like, you know what I mean? Not because of any other reason than that's just how the vision looked in my head. I feel like I set the table, and then I'll bring the queen in to eat at the table, and she can do as she please, work, cook, clean, whatever she wants to do, stay at home, go to work. I don't care. Like as long as I was able to set the table up and to set myself in the best position to bring a woman into my life. You know what I mean? And also often, like these past couple years, 8 years I've been on this journey, I find myself in relationships I have no business being in. Like there's no point, and that's what I had to deal with a lot in college. I went to a small Catholic school. Everybody gets married by their junior year of their senior year, by the second semester or mid semester of their senior year or junior year. So like I thought like that was the blueprint I was supposed to take, and I was supposed to go down that path. But I kept having friction. I kept having dis-ease because I knew the whole time I was in college, damn, I'm about to go overseas. I want to go overseas. And the last girl I was with, like I almost decided not to go overseas. Like I was there. I was not going to go overseas and go pro. I was just going to stay in Kansas City and marry her and do the whole thing, because I had made mistakes and I felt like I had owed that to her, but God had a different plan, and we split up, and I got to have that experience. You know what I mean? And if I didn't, get to have that experience and we didn't break up, I think I would have missed a vital part of my development as a man, a vital part of my growth, in the elevation to the man I'm trying to become. I understand like solitude, being alone is a perfect time for reflection, introspection, and that's paramount in a man's life. Most men don't give themselves the time to think, plan, plot, and put together a strategic plan to achieve goals. Most men don't even have goals. Most men have never tried to achieve anything. You know what I mean? Most men's, best time of life was in high school or college football. It's a rare to see a man outside of school, outside of, his natural realm of things, like striving and achieving goals still, So that's where I'm at with the whole dating thing. And it's like, I think I just got to continue to, continue to check myself and just to make sure, like, why am I talking to this girl? What is it about her I like? Is it physical? Is it the sex? Do I really like her? Do I see myself putting my goals on the back burner to be with her and spend more time and to get to know her? And like just continue to check myself to make sure I'm in the right state of mind while dealing with women, because I deal with a lot of women. I hang out with a lot of women. I much rather hang out with women than men, because one, they're girls. Two, they attract more girls. And three, like women can teach you so much about yourself and about women at the end of the day. All my best lessons have came from, after a relationship with a woman, after a friendship with a woman goes south or goes great. I learned so much about myself and the world around me. So at the end of the day, that's my experience dating. It may look similar to yours, but I feel like every man chasing a dream, chasing a goal is going to have to deal with this, because it's like Post Malone said, bro, it's either pussy or the come up, pussy or the commas. You know what I mean? Like you can't have both, like there's no way I would achieve the goals I would want if I was focused on like smashing hella girls or focused on like getting a wife or like, dating someone, because it doesn't add up. The math doesn't add up. Like $200 every time we go out. Eventually she's going to get pregnant. Who knows if she wants to work or not. So I might have to take care of her and all the bills. Then she's going to have a kid. That's like 18 years of bills. Like she's going to want a car. I'm going to want a car. We're going to have to get a house. Like it just doesn't make sense. I won't make it if I chose that path. So it's like I got to continue to check myself, stay in the process, stay in the solution. And when it's my time to have those things, like it's going to be my time. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't think about it, bro. I'm jacked, tatted with gold, gold hair. You feel me? Like I deserve to have a woman. I deserve to be loved, and I deserve to have a partner. But it's like I'm not just going to settle for anything just to say I got a woman, just to say I'm with someone, or just to post a picture on Instagram. Because That's stupid, man. Like that shit is so superficial and it's so evident like who's doing it and who's like really like in love and who's really like growing with their partner. You know what I mean? And that's the type of relationship I wanted to have, you know, for a long time. But I just never been in the right place mentally and spiritually to have that. And like I said, I was a cheater. You know, I had to grow up and learn like cheating is wrong. I really thought it wasn't wrong. It was just something I did and I was raised to do. But I had to learn that lesson. And now that I've learned that lesson and correct other character defects and old behaviors, I feel like I'm in a better place to receive a woman, but I'm not in a better place like externally in my reality. I got too much going on. Like I can't, only time I'm taken away from my dreams, my goals is to spend with my family. You know what I mean? Because I've been gone for hella long and like I have younger siblings, like nephews and nieces and little cousins that look up to me and I got to be an example. So I'm more focused on that than rather than like bringing a woman into my program, learning her, making sure she learns me, like knowing what to say, what not to say around her, knowing what she likes, where she wants to go for dinner, like how she sleeps, having all her stuff in my space. You know, that's not where I'm at right now as a man. So these are the struggles I'm dealing with, you know, dating while chasing this dream. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and follow me at Bay Affiliate. That's my podcast channel. Got a dope episode coming out. Follow me on Instagram at staydownfit_RAYE, Ray. And yeah, stay tuned for more content. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, YouTube videos are back, baby.